What's up, everybody? Straw Hats Are Cool here, and we are back again with another tabletop gameplay video. I just want to start this video real quick by apologizing for the lack of uploads this past week. Didn't get quite as much done over the weekend as I would have hoped, and still been getting back in the swing of things with teaching. So took a little time off, but we are back now, and I've got a 3-day weekend, so I'm going to be grinding out as much content as I can over the next couple days. So let's get into this match here. We've got a Ace versus Doflamingo matchup. I am piloting the Doflamingo deck on the right, and one of my friends is piloting the Ace deck. Fortunately, the Ace deck is the deck that I believe suffers the most from the restrictions we got recently. Um, and it does kind of suck because that was one of the decks I was looking forward to playing more. But after they announced the restrictions, I haven't really thought much about playing the Ace deck. Though it is looking like once we get the OP04 set legal, there's a good chance that they unrestrict those cards. Uh, thing that makes me think that is that if you look at the regional prizings for the next wave of events, they mention that with the Newgate alt for top 16, that the restriction is possibly going to be lifted um, by the release of OP04. So there's a good chance that Newgate and Marco come back. I think Radby might stay hit, but we'll see what they decide to do. So I did get to start off with my Perona, which, as most of the Doflamingo players know, that's what you need to start off your game. Once you can start chaining your deck stackers, you can be pretty in control for the remainder of the game. So always want to cycle your Peronas and Doflamingos in such a way that you can always hit with your leader effect. One of Doflamingo's biggest assets is that it is able to play cards outside of the hand and off the top of the deck. So you get to keep your hand for counter and then still play bodies. And then once you get kind of the later turns, you can play a body and cheat one out while still swinging 7, which is very powerful. So on my 3 Dawn turn, we are just going to be attaching 2 using the leader effect and playing the 6K Gecko Moria from the top. Ace player is now on their 4 Dawn turn, so we'll have to see what they do. Ace is a deck that I feel is a little slower to get started, but they have a lot of removal, which is really where the Ace deck shines. So we could see, it looks like I think that's going to be what happens. We're going to see Otama come down, which probably means we're going to see the Fire Fist come down, just clear the board. Generally speaking, I don't think it's good to play your Fire Fist early. I think they're a more powerful card in the late game. But like I said with the Ace deck, oftentimes you don't have a lot to do in the early game, so I can see why they would do this here. We are just going to counter out of that one. We know we can play something off the top again, since we did get that Prona, if I recall. It was a pretty good top 5 search. So we're just going to be using that again. This time playing the Boa Hancock. And then I think we might just play another Perona here, reorder the top 5 yet again. And like I said, once you can chain your stackers, you're in a pretty commanding position. Just always being able to hit with that leader effect and stack your draws as well. So while blue doesn't have any searchers, they more than make up for it with their deck stackers, which is especially good in the Doflamingo deck. So ace is now on their 6 Dawn turn. Wonder what we will see from the ace player here. Maybe an Otama into a Marco, probably be their best play. There is an Otama, and then it looks like it is going to be that Marco. Marco really pulling the weight for the ace deck now. Only really power card they got to keep unrestricted. So And they do still have cards like Flame Emperor, which are really strong, but um, in this game, building a board is such an important part of winning a game. And while Flame Emperor is good, just it basically means you're not developing any of your board, which can hurt you in the long run. So we are going to be playing the Doflamingo, playing the Gecko Moria. I believe here I just grab the Perona back again, just so that I can keep reordering the top 5 of my deck, keep stacking my draws, and keep hitting with the leader effect. So it is what we do there. You didn't know the Gecko Moria grabs Warlords and Thriller Bark. Perona is Thriller Bark, so we are able to grab it there. And then we do have the 3,000 worlds for the Marco, which is great for us. So both of us have really just been taking turns clearing each other's board each turn. So neither of us have really been able to establish anything yet. The ace player's got some Otamas and a buggy. Buggy's not bad, but not a natural attacker. So I think I've only been able to attack with my leader so far this game, because my characters keep getting cleared every turn. We do see the rest 7 for the Flame Emperor here, going to be KOing the Gecko Moria and giving the ace plus 3,000 power and double attack. With the remaining Dawn, they can swing 9k, which I probably end up taking. I don't remember exactly what I decided to do here, but I do think that I will have to take that one. Looks like we get a trigger. We're just going to bottom deck that buggy. And then we take the remaining hit. So 2-2 right now. Neither of us have a board. So that's going to be it for the ace player, passing back to me. It's going to be my 9 Dawn turn. So I do think I had the Mihawk, but no point in playing it right now. So gonna have to wait and hope our opponent plays something worth using the effect of Mihawk on. Maybe if they play another Marco, be good. So gonna go ahead and play the blocker Doflamingo, which also allows us to reorder the top 5 cards of our deck. So feeling pretty good. Like I said, I keep saying it, just we are hitting our stackers and just every single draw, we know what's coming and we can play bodies off the top of our deck. So while we aren't developing a board, we do have advantage because we know what cards we're pulling. So gonna be a Jinbei now. Opponent's not really got anything that is really worth using the Jinbei effect on if they do decide to KO him. We do have a 5 cost and a 4K on the board with the Jinbei and Doflamingo. So if they do have a Fire Fist, now would probably be a pretty good time to use it. They could use that alongside a Marco, KO the Perona, just wipes the whole board. We do see the Fire Fist discarding a round table, and that will be KOing both of my Doflamingo and Jinbei. Uh, and then we will bottom one of the Otamas since it's there, though I don't think the Otama was much of a threat. So, see what our opponent does next. Got 6 Dawn remaining, if I seen that correctly. Going to be swinging 6k. We are just going to use the Desert Spada here. Not all Doflamingo decks are in the Desert Spada, but I like it because sometimes we just don't have anything great to play. And the Desert Spada also allows us to stack the top 3. So opponent does play the Marco there. Not too bad. Leaving 1 up, probably for a guard point or radical beam, just in case. Though we only have 1 attacker, so we are just going to be swinging 5 and then playing the Mihawk. Do you think we end up playing the Perona here? Going to check those next couple cards, see if we have anything good. Does look like there was a Jinbei and a Boa at the bottom of that 5, so really great hits for us when we use our leader effect in the coming turns. So, going to reorder those, and then pass back to our opponent. So if they have any more cost reduction in their Flame Emperor, they are going to be able to clear our Mihawk, which would be a very powerful play. So we'll see what the opponent has cooking here. Again, I don't think either of us have gotten to attack with any of our characters, which is kind of funny. We just keep swinging with our leaders. 7k from me, cheating out a body. And there is the Flame Emperor. Opponent keeps playing Flame Emperors and KOing our stuff. So a lot of back and forth right now. Neither of us able to maintain any board presence. So we are seeing the rest of one for another Otama. They are burning all their Otamas though, so they will be running out of counter eventually. And there is the rest of 7 to KO the Mihawk, giving that ace again the plus 3000 power and double attack. I would imagine we see them attach the Dawn here. They do just decide to pitch the striker with the leader effect to buff the ace. Swing for 9. We do counter out of that one. Scared of going to 0 there. Would have been pretty bad if they were able to get that one off. I do think that if they swung 10 there, I would not have been able to counter, which would have been really scary. Though, if they didn't, we could probably just swing like some number with the Perona and the rest on the leader for game. But I'm not entirely sure what they had in their hand. Since they're leaving up one for an event counter, I would imagine one of those, at least one of those, is a either guard point or radical beam. Do look like they possibly could have triggered that card, but they are just going to edit hand. And then we're just going to pass with 4 Dawn open. We do have 2 Love beams in our hand, so just going to make sure we survive the next turn. Opponent is going to grab another 7, it looks like. Another Flame Emperor. Give themselves double attack again. Though this time we do have the Love beams, so we should be able to protect ourselves. We're going to be seeing the swing of 9. We are just going to use the Love beam, and we get to draw. And then we're going to drop the Alvita, save ourselves from that double attack there. Opponent's going to be passing with 2 Dawn open, so I would say there's a good chance the last 2 cards in their hand are event counters. I think it's 2 cards in hand, might be 3. I could try and go for game here, though with the event counters, I think it's safer to just do a big swing with the Doflamingo and then leave some Dawn up for event counters again. Looks like that's what we do here. Looks like we're going to be swinging 10, forcing 2 cards out of our opponent's hand. And then, do we use the effect here? Does not look like we're using the effect of our leader here. Maybe it was something we can't play. There is the Radical Beam and a Jozu. So it was 3 cards in their hands. Looks like we've got 5 left. And we've got 1 beam. So it looks like we're going to play the Doflamingo. Just reorder that top 5. Do have some 2Ks in there. I'm going to put one of those on top so that we can draw it off the Love beam if necessary. Though, with only 1 card in hand and nothing really on board, I do think it's not going to be possible for our opponent to break through our defense here. We still have 2 life remaining and a blocker. They've only got the Otamas and the Buggy, as well as their leader. So they need to have 3 hits go through here. But like I said, I know I have the Love beam. I've got a blocker and 2 life. So getting 3 hits through with their board is, I think it's just not possible, unfortunately, for the ace player. So they are going to be dropping the Machina to buff one of their characters. They are going to buff the Otama because they know they need to get a couple hits through here in order to win the game. So they're just going to be hoping that I don't have any counter. I'm not scared, so I am just taking the hits here. Don't want my opponent to try and clear my board and play a blocker. I'd rather let them think they can go for game. I don't think it would have been possible for them to clear their board after or clear my board after playing the Machina. There was a chance they had, I suppose, like a Fire Fist, though they do need another event for that. So wouldn't have been possible for them to do that and have a blocker as well. But I always err on the side of caution, which maybe isn't correct. Do you think I probably could have won on the last turn if I just put everything on my leader? Reason being, I think if I'm remembering right, my opponent only had 3 cards in hand. They had 2 Dawn open for event counters, but with guard or Radical Beam being limited, the most they could have had would be guard point, Radical Beam 2K, which should only be 9, which would put them to 14, which wouldn't be enough to counter the 15. We are going to be hitting them with the rainbow. So that is going to be the game there. As always, thank you so much to everyone who is subscribing to the channel. If you are enjoying the content, please do consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We did pass 400 subscribers recently, and I will be announcing the next giveaway on Monday, assuming things go according to my plan. So if you like the video, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell so that you know when my next video goes live. Like I said, we will be doing another giveaway for a starter deck 8 and starter deck 9, so do be on the lookout for that. As always, again, thank you so much for watching, and with that, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.